How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the four trades that I took, two on MNQ, two on MES. Had a small winning day overall. Uh, kind of had some weird things happen, so um, once I had a decent day, I kind of cut it off and went about it from there. You can see on MNQ, we're looking at the 15-minute. This is today's price action pretty much from this point to the right, and you can see it's pretty choppy. Comparatively on MES, we had a much clearer uptrend throughout the day, so probably should have focused my efforts there. But nonetheless, let's take a look at what we were watching. So we had the high of yesterday, we had the low of yesterday, and then this zone that came into play around 18,196 to 18,216 or so. That's just based off previous price action. You see a lot of rejections in this area. Something that happened later in the day, and I wasn't trading during this time, so I wasn't really paying attention to it. But the yesterday's high, kind of this zone in here, was excellent for rejections each time, rejecting for at least 40 points or so. So that's pretty solid stuff. All right. And we'll go into ES. So ES, the high of the day and the low of the day for the previous trading day. We opened up right in here, obviously had a big move to the upside. So let's look at the zones we were watching. We had this zone from 5209 to 5217, and this zone up here like 5236 to 5239 or so. Those played out pretty well. Got a little pullback when we hit this zone, broke and retested that zone and moved up in the after hours, so that's pretty nice. All right, let's go into it. So what was I watching today? Really what I was watching is I just zoomed out and just noticed that we're kind of in this channel. We're not really breaking higher highs or higher lows, right? We have our lows down here, we have our highs kind of up in here, and for the most part we're just kind of deviating between them. So especially after yesterday's price action, coming into today where we're kind of the top of this channel, right? We're opening up right in here. We had rejected before in this area. Started to look a little weak, and that influenced one of the first things, or excuse me, we opened up in here. My apologies, this was later in the day. Opened up in here. One of the trades I did not take that I really wanted to and wish I did was we started to form almost like a little bit of a head and shoulders here on MNQ on the 5,000 tick chart, right? You see this shoulder here, this head here, a bit of a shoulder here, and we have kind of this neckline right in here. And then if you zoom out and you look at where that neckline lines up, that neckline, if you go over, see rejections here, support here, big support here, as well as some kind of bounces and rejections over here, some rejections in here. So kind of a big area of price action, and then with it being kind of that neckline from yesterday's after hours pre-market and to the morning when we broke, I placed an order for a retest of this area. We wicked up close. I'm gonna draw this down so we have multiple time frames here that we can look at, but we wicked up close, just did not fill me on that. So this is what it looked like on the 1000 tick chart, right? You see kind of this platform that we have, this base. We break it. We came up and almost retested. What we retested was the very bottom of these wicks to the point, essentially, like within 1 point. My entry was more conservative, more up here, kind of at this shared level where we bounced off of before. And you can see we did not make it up there for the retest. So what I'm watching is that break and then that retest, that clear breakthrough, and then retest to that general area. Could have entered, especially after getting this candle print here, maybe even this one. It gave me a couple minutes to decide here. I suppose from 7, it gave me like 30 seconds. So pretty quick action in there. But that retest was what I was watching, and you can see we dumped, what is it, 172 to about like 60 points. So that was a really nice move. I had an order in place, just did not get filled. That's just me being a little picky on where I want to get filled. I could have ordered, sold market and entered just at market once we were getting close. But I was picky with my entry and kind of missed that big move. So that leads me into the first trade that I took today, and a weird one at that. So if we're looking at MES, MNQ was breaking down way harder, right? MNQ was selling off at the same time of day. This is what we had on MES. We had a higher low and then continuation from the pre-market. So on MES, I took one trade and on two trades, but my first trade was shorts here. So we had broken out of this zone, coming up and retesting. I was looking for shorts and weakness as we were seeing in MNQ. When I entered this position, my stop loss was above this wick right here. Or actually, I placed another order. So I placed an order to take a second contract up here, and my stop loss was 2 points above that. My take profit, I had a take profit down here at this swing low, and then another one kind of at this swing low. So I was on take profit here and here if we broke down and try to capture that range. At this point, my Tradovate platform just completely went blank. It just went white. I couldn't see anything. Luckily, I was able to click up here and close out of my position. So I exited this position because although I had some orders set, I just couldn't see anything. My entire platform went blank. So I exited, and that was a break even. I didn't make any money. I didn't lose any money. We were kind of chopping around in here during that time, and I think I exited for $1 profit, but after fees and everything, it was like a 20-cent loss, essentially break even. So that was my that was my first trade. That was my first trade on the day. Second trade, we're gonna hop back over to MNQ. My second trade was puts right in here. Why is that? Because we had this weakness. Like I said, we've kind of been trading within this range, right? And look at where we started to come into is this area that we've had, a few bounces, also had a few rejections in this area, especially on the prior day. So when we came into this area, I took two contracts, I sized into it. I took an initial contract a little early somewhere in here. I took another contract somewhere in here once we started to pull back to give me a better entry overall. My stop loss was above this swing high. I took profit down here on one. So if we're looking at this 5,000 tick chart, we'll see why I was taking profit. So I put an order in kind of right in this level where you see some of these wicks, some of this price action on the higher time frame, as well as that lower time frame. So it got filled on one. I set my runner to break even, so I took one off the table. I had another remaining. I set my other to break even, and this push up stopped me out at break even. So overall, that was like that was not much. I was up like $15 or something for two contracts. The risk reward not really worth it on this one. Like I said, I set the runner to break even. I was hoping that we'd have a bigger continuation, sort of that we did here, but that push up stopped me out before we got that continuation down. I was really hoping to be able to get a move more like this here and try to capture more of that. So that was my first real trade, second trade actually, but first trade that I actually took and executed. Then I had my third trade back on MES. I was just kind of flipping back and forth, seeing opportunities. This one was a loss for me. We'll take a look at it. Excuse me, I was on the wrong time frame there. So I took a short position here when we broke above yesterday's high and then immediately sold right back through it. So to me, this looked like a fake breakout. When we pulled back up and retested this area, I took a put. My target was the bottom of this zone, so down in here, that was 5209 or so. My entry was 5217, so about an 8-point target. My stop was above this wick right here, so 5219, so about a 2.5 point stop loss there. When we pushed up here, that stopped me out, which was good because we did, eventually make a move on up. So didn't want to stick in that one. That one hit my stop loss. That was a loser overall. So at this point, I was down a couple dollars, I believe, and I made my fourth and final trade back on MNQ, swapping back and forth. My fourth and final trade on MNQ was shorts, a single short position up here. Reason being, we're at the top of this zone where look how many times we've rejected, right? We've gotten one rejection, 2, 3, all these in here, 4, 5, 6. This rejection in here, got that breakout and immediately collapsed back down. kind of in the pre-market high. That was the pre-market high before we had that big sell-off. So as we pushed up and started to show some weakness, so if you look, we have a long upper wick in this area. We're kind of slowing down our momentum. We had these big candles into these small candles. We're starting to kind of break down, form lower highs and lower lows in a smaller time frame. And I took a short position on this little move right here. So as we popped up, I took a short position. We had this, slowdown momentum, bearish engulfing. So when we came back up, I took a short position, stop loss above high a day, and my profit target was down. Where was it? It was based off I wanted right in here. So I was looking for 180, and I entered somewhere up in here. I was looking for about a 20-point move. Once we started to hold this spot right here, so on this lower time frame, you can see that we started to move horizontally. Rather, we were coming down. We didn't get a bounce in continuation. We just started moving horizontally. At this point, I got out of my single contract, so I only had one contract. I got out of my contract here because we were pretty strong in the afternoon, and then I was watching MES just make new highs and be strong throughout the day. So I didn't want to necessarily hold a short when we had broken above pre-market high, broken above high a day. We had set a low, set a swing high, higher low, higher high. So I didn't want to kind of get trapped trying to short at a higher low there, going against the trend. So took that profit for a modest, like 16, 17 points or so. That was it. After that, like I said, today was a little, I kept finding myself, getting stopped at break even on my runners, missing trades that I wanted to take. Something just felt a little off. I could tell that I wasn't trading my best today. So once I hit that and I was up at, an acceptable amount for me trading a single contract, I cut it and I decided to walk away from there and just take the profit and move on. I knew that if I stuck around, kept trying to have a bigger day, I probably would have gave it back. So smaller day overall. Kind of, like I said, weird things with my Tradovate going completely shutting down while I was in the middle of a trade. Missing a perfect entry on a trade I was watching. So like I said, it was just a little bit of an odd day for me. So I decided to shut it down once I had a respectable profit. That's all I got for you. Thank you for watching. I do trade live Monday through Friday. Hope to see you there. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.